Hello, I am Paul O'D of Cage Legacy and the MMA Opinion, and I am joined on the line today by Ciaran, the Dark Horse Mulholland, fighting out of FAI. Ciaran fights Kamil Wincenciak in a professional flyweight bout at Cage Legacy The Aftermath on April 3rd, live on pay-per-view. How are you doing today, Ciaran?
I'm all good. I'm all good. Glad to be joining you.
Very good.
Nice, thanks.
Very good. And I suppose we'll get straight into it. Given the unprecedented times, and I know you've had a couple of fights with Cage Warriors of late, how is the training going and how is training camp going during these times?
Training camp's going great. I thought my last camp in Cage Warriors, I sort of had to up and move. I went to Liverpool for sort of like the last month of my camp because it was finding hard to get trained over here.
Yeah.
But up at Fight Academy, we've got a lot of league guys. Some of the guys fighting on Cage Warriors, some of the guys fighting on sort of Cage Legacy as well. So they were able to sort of form an elite bubble. So training hasn't stopped. So I was able to get contact with Liam and get in contact with Pat. And they sort of said, yeah, they'll take me in. Sort of, I've been training with they're sort of a league group. So training's been going great. Probably better training more so now than ever. I've got sort of scheduled every day. Between Liam and sort of Pat up there. So we've got a real good team, sort of real good strategy room.
Very good, a good mix of partners. So, just to touch on the event itself, Cage Legacy, The Aftermath, how important do you believe it is for the future of Irish MMA, given the times that we're in and there was no event for the last year, all of 2020 in Ireland? How important is it that this event is going ahead now and kind of setting the tone, and hopefully there'll be a floodgate will open for events after this?
Yeah, I think it's massive. I think a lot of people like myself sort of been sitting and down the back in the action. As well, it gives a reason for gyms to be open again. So guys can get in gyms, guys can get trained again.
Yeah.
I think it's more so there's as you say, there's a whole lot of guys on the shelf. I'm sure as soon as Cage Legacy is announced, there must have been hundreds of names getting through sort of forward for Cage Legacy, and guys wanting demanding fights, and guys wanting to go back in the gym. So I think it's a real good move. And I think as you say, I think this will probably open the floodgate. I think Clonmore don't show up here up north. They had great success and they're running another one. And I obviously Cage Legacy doing theirs down south, and I think Cage Legacy probably won't be the only show run after this. I think a lot of shows will sort of open up and that try to get more and more guys fighting in more regularly. Definitely.
I suppose, could you tell me a little bit about your background and how you got started in MMA?
So I'd always watched MMA, but I always played football. I think I got the age of about 19, 20, and sort of didn't like football no more. Just couldn't be annoyed with. Seen football more like a thing that was doing to keep me out of the house rather than sort of something I really enjoying and passionate about. Yeah. So I thought one day I'm really going to try MMA. So I went down to a gym in the Kamil Wincenciak, PHK at the time, and I loved it. So from the first minute I walked in the door, I just loved it. And I sort of never missed a session, nothing for about 6 weeks. And the head coach Stephen Sweeney at the time said to me, "Would you ever fancy fighting?" I said, "Yeah, I'd love to fight." Yeah. And he said, "Well, there's like kickboxing fights in a couple of weeks' time. Would you ever be interested in a kickboxing fight?" And I said, "Well, yeah, why not?" So I was through in the kickboxing fight, and I think it was the Seagull Hotel. And after the fight, even though it wasn't MMA, it was kickboxing, I sort of like really went mad for it. And that's like I was training maybe twice a day after then, and really sort of putting the work in for it. And that's sort of I finally had my first MMA fight, and just sort of went from there, snowballed.
Yeah, I just want to touch on your last fight as well. Your last outing, of course, was in September at Cage Warriors. You competed with Jack Maguire. There was a back and forth war and a great fight. What did you learn from that experience, especially fighting in the arena with no crowd?
Fighting in the arena with no crowd strangely didn't have as much impact as I thought it was going to. Like I normally, even from my amateur days, I always sort of bring a big crowd of sort of supporters behind me. So I thought maybe having the crowd would make me dead flat, but it didn't. Sort of I think the Jack McGuire fight was maybe one of the best fights, and one of the better fights for sort of activity. The Jack McGuire fight was sort of bittersweet to me. I thought I'd done a lot of things well, but I still should have done some stuff more. I think it was maybe too patient when I sort of shoved him on the front foot. I think every time in the fight when I went first, I was getting the battle exchanges. Too often I was letting him lead the exchanges. And with such a big long reach, Jack would sort of catch me on a lot of the end of his shots. So I think I'm working on sort of more aggression, controlled aggression, because I don't want to go too reckless, but more so aggression where I'm going first when I need to go first.
Yeah, And I believe this is your first taste of Cage Legacy and your first time getting in there in the Cage Legacy cage. Are you excited
Yeah,
to get in there in a new organisation?
yeah. I've been around Cage Legacy. I think my teammate of mine, Patrick Rinaldi, fought for Cage Legacy title a few years ago. He beat Barry Hanna, and so it was, and I've been at the event a couple of times. So it was a well run show. I know Declan and stuff. At the time, he was actually saying about maybe get me on, but I was sort of on the end of my amateur career. I was talking to Declan, and then ended up signing for Cage Warriors. So obviously with Cage Warriors only being able to run such small events like the trilogy, there's sort of a lot of fighters crammed, and they're trying to get a lot of fighters on because obviously there's so many fighters wanting to fight, and Cage Warriors' job is to put the most high level matches on. So the mountain for the next trilogy in March, I couldn't get me matched up. Yeah. So Ian Dean said to me, you can sort of have a one fight deal outside of Cage Warriors. If you can find anywhere to match it. So Cage Legacy was coming up, and I know a lot of sort of Shoutouts boys and Pat's boys are fighting on Cage Legacy, so it made sense for me to get on Cage Legacy, just to stay active. And Cage Legacy found me a really, really good opponent. I know he's only making his debut, but he's fought a lot of high level amateurs. So I think it's just going to be a real good test and a real good fight, and I'm going to be able to showcase what I'm capable of doing.
Yeah, you touched on your opponent there, Kamil. Like you said, he does have a lot of experience, but do you believe the fact that you've had two pro fights already and you've been in there for those 5-minute rounds, do you believe that experience stands to you in this bout?
Yeah, I think so. I by all means, I'm sort of no newbie. I've sort of had like 20 amateur fights, so I've done it all. Went to World Championships, been to the European Championships, so I fought a lot of 3-minute rounds, and then I went to the fives. The fives are much different. The timing's different, and obviously you sort of need to control yourself a bit more. If you find yourself like going mad for the first 5-minute round, you've almost fought 2 amateur rounds. Yeah. So you do need to sort of conserve one. And that's where I sort of felt I went almost wrong against Jack. I was still sort of maybe conserving too much. I wasn't going quick enough. So I think I'm working on sort of my timing and when I'm going to go quicker. I think experience will be a big thing. Yeah. I think obviously there's slight rule changes, and you need to watch the knees of the head, you need to watch the right elbows, their positions, and how much you feel that you're comfortable. Where the pro game just completely take you out of your comfort zone. And that's one thing I'm sort of really looking forward to.
Yeah, and you've seen a little bit of Kamil. What do you think are his big attributes he's bringing to this bout, and what will you be looking out for on April 3rd?
So I think Kamil's a solid wrestler. He's a solid wrestler, but he's got these punch powers as well. I seen him fight live. I think it was a couple of years ago with Ciaran Mulholland. Yeah, that one's a really good high level sort of fighter, and I think he actually sort of knocked Ciaran Mulholland sort of down. Also seen him fight Glenn live Cage Conflict. So I've seen him a couple of times. Yeah, he's real solid wrestling background, and he's decent on the feet too. So I think it'll be well rounded bout. I think well rounded himself, and it'll be a good scrap. I think I'm going to bring a real good pace. I'm definitely going to finish this one. Sort of haven't got the results I've wanted in the last two sort of pro bouts, obviously. Yeah. I think the Jack McGuire was a good fight, but again, as I say, it was sort of maybe too lax by the time really put a stamp on it.
Yeah, and just for the Cage Legacy fans, Ciaran, can you tell us something we might not know about Ciaran the Dark Horse Mulholland?
I'm not too sure. Something you wouldn't know about me.
This one generally stumps people.
Probably I've only been in the sport about 4 years. I think obviously because I'm a pro and have 20 amateur fights, a lot of people think I'm in the game much longer. But I'm only in this game about 4 years, coming 5 years until July time.
Jeez. Very good. And before we let you go, where can we find you on social medias, and do you have any shout outs you'd like to do?
So my social medias are Ciaran Mulholland _MMA. Social media all training partners for the academy at the moment. Especially C Mac Burns. Me and have been sort of training partners now for the last 3 years. He's down with me at PHK, and then when we changed over to Titan, he's with me. And then we're up at Fight Academy together in the elite bubble. Pat McAllister and Chantal are doing a great job at the moment, and sort of we're obviously keeping a lot of guys moving because a lot of gyms are obviously closed due to lockdown. And that's our at the moment.
Very good. And just for a soundbite, why should we tune in on April 3rd to your bout?
I think it'll be highly explosive. I think it'll be highly explosive from the first round, sort of as long as it lasts. Ideally, I would love a first round finish, but at the same time, I've been out of the cage from September time, so I'd maybe like to go maybe round 2, maybe round 3. I'm definitely like to finish the fight. I think it'll be exciting the whole time. So I think if you miss this one, you'll be sorry, but you miss it.
Very good. And make sure and tune in on April 3rd, live on pay-per-view. Ciaran Mulholland fights Kamil Wincenciak in a professional flyweight bout. Thank you very much for coming on, Ciaran.
Yes, thanks for having me.
Thank you.
See you the 3rd.